So hi, welcome to the Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with...
I'm Maddie.
Jake.
Ian.
And we are Protect Your Heart.
And we're going to ask some questions today about the new single, Worst Side of Me. So congrats on that, by the way, guys. How do you feel about the response to it so far?
It's been great. It was one of those songs that we didn't expect to be a single so soon. We expected it to be kind of later on in the album cycle. So we kind of adjusted course a bit based on our music video schedule. And when we put it out, everyone was like, this is my new favorite. And I was like, actually quite surprised. But that song was fun. And it actually came about in an interesting way. I was supposed to meet with Kian for a writing session one day and he bailed. So I sat in a Starbucks parking lot, was playing with melody ideas on one of the songs that was originally thrown into the trash. And I resurrected that thing out and I was like, this song is too cool not to play with. So I came up with the vocal melody at Starbucks in the parking lot and boom, our song came to shape.
I love that.
Wow.
You mentioned album cycle. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I say album cycle, I mean, we're a new band. So, I mean, it's not like we have several cycles to pull from. It's like, this is our first, but we had this very clear idea of what we wanted to achieve when we met each other and started to work on this project. It was, we want a 15 song record. We want a ton of singles and we want to kind of essentially go Drake style and put out like 10 singles and then a 15 song record. And, so when I say cycle, it's really just kind of the process of releasing all the singles with each of their music videos. And I think we have landed on a summer release for our full length. So we're excited to be in the, second half of this planning stage.
Very cool. I was very worried you were going
style.
I was very worried you were going to be like album cycle. So by the way, actually the album comes out tomorrow. Fuck you guys.
I know, but
talking about a single.
But
Exactly.
the sixth single does come out on Friday. So
Okay.
we got another one shortly thereafter.
All right.
Perfect. All right. So is there any meaning behind the single name and cover art?
Kian, you can touch on the cover art. He's the one who designs all of our branding and our artwork.
Very cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Man, without looking at it, I
There's
think
so many now, right?
I know. Yeah, and they're all kind of thematic. Like when we started this project, we had this idea of doing everything as Polaroids, to have like tangible physical things to like basically remember the whole process and be able to use that as like, artwork stuff. Because it's so easy now with, everyone having an iPhone to like go get like perfect portrait mode photos and all this stuff that looks like, digitally perfect. We like the kind of messy, noisy, grainy, like film kind of stuff, because it's like that is what existed when we were growing up. So it's kind of like part nostalgia, part like, just looks cool. But actually on the Worst Side of Me cover, I know that there are a handful of like Polaroids. I think there's one from when we shot our Close to the Grave video. I think there's one from in the studio. I think like one of the first times Matt was in the studio with us and we were just jamming around and messing around. And then the actual centerpiece photo is a good friend of ours. Her name's Chelsea Castro. She's a pro skater. And we met her back in the day through dance music. She used to come to all of our shows when we were doing that and was a big supporter of the music we were producing then. She was actually in a music video Ant and I did, skating around. I think it's probably the biggest music video she's been in. The Justin Bieber one doesn't count. But she
Does that not count?
I just hit her up and I was like, hey, I need like a photo. And I think this is the perfect photo for the album art. Like, can we use it? And she's like, yeah, of course. So we posted a teaser today for the next single. And she sent us all those clips as well. So she's just been like a longtime supporter and like really good friend of ours. And so like anytime we want to do something involving skateboarding, she's like the first person we hit up and she's always like really accommodating and just the coolest.
Oh yeah.
That's so wholesome. I love that so much. And can anybody touch on the title?
Yeah.
Mainly Maddie, right? You wrote most of the lyrics.
Yeah. For me, sometimes the titles and the lyrics are almost an afterthought to whatever I feel like just throwing out there when I'm doing. I write top lines first. And so when I come up with melody ideas, I will sing, instead of la la la's, I sing like the first words that come to mind, which actually for the Never Gonna Leave You single that came right before Worst Side of Me, all those lyrics in the chorus were just off the top, were just it whatever syllables sound the best in the melody, and I focus on like what is the most audibly pleasing. So that's kind of how I crafted the lyrics, and I start from a point of like, okay, well, this melody makes me want to say this word in this space, so then let's build away from that, and I can reverse engineer the lyrics. So Worst Side of Me, I was going along with the drums really, and like the beat that Jake and the guys put together, and that like totally dictated the lyrics I wanted to write. It just felt right when I sing it in my car. So Worst Side of Me, it hits on the drum beats in the leading up to the chorus, and so I started like that was the first lyric that I came up with. Na 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 na, worst side of me. I'm like, oh, okay, what does that mean to me? Okay, let's build out from that and like fit into the vibe of the song, and that's really just where it's
I remember too when you came over to Ants to do the wizard stuff. That line, I'm paralyzed, I can't decide, like came out when we were there, and we're like, that has to stay. And so like we wrote, Matt wrote a couple different like versions of stuff, and I think like we all were like, what happened to that one line? Like I have video of it and I've seen it and heard it so many times that it's not going to go anywhere, so you can't strip that out, so work around that. So yeah, it's kind of a ass backwards way of writing lyrics, I think.
It is.
That's how we do it. Yeah.
As Kian mentioned earlier, we call it wizards. It's a term that I've held on to for like 10 years of writing music. I call a wizard anytime that I'm not thinking about lyrics and just vocal melodies, and I'm like, okay, what lyrics sound right into the feeling of this part, and let's work backwards from that, because I want everything to be my subconscious writing the lyrics, not like me trying to think, okay, I need to write about this topic, or I need to be this like deep into something. And sometimes it's just so simple that you just want yourself to be natural. And so I don't want to overthink things, especially in the lyric process. I've spent many songs overthinking the lyrics, and it ends up making it worse. I want it to just be what's natural. So it was easy to write from that, but it also works when the guys present like a really killer instrumental, and it makes it easier to write my parts.
Yeah.
Ooh.
How did you manage to kind of turn off that overthinking part and just literally let everything flow onto paper, I guess?
It really comes from writing many songs where I overthought everything. And I recognize if I do that, the amount of songs that I write per year is like 3 or 4 rather than like 15 or 20. And I would much rather, I heard a Stevie Wonder quote, and someone's like, how do you have, so many number 1 hit singles? And he's like, because I wrote 1,000 songs. And it's so true. Like not every song is going to be amazing, and you have to be okay with that. And sometimes if you overthink, you're trying to make every song to be perfect, and it never will be. There's nothing you can do to fix some songs. They're just going to live in the state that they are. So recognizing that and just allowing that to be, you give yourself an amount of time and make whatever progress you make, and then you just move on and you say, I will live with this because that's what I felt now, and I won't go back in a month and say I need to revise everything. So I think it's really just allowing to be okay with imperfection, even if because you can always write the same song 100 times and still not be done. Sometimes you just got to call it a day.
I think it's also important though to this is our first band, if you will, in this space, but we've all been producing music for 10 to 20 years individually, so like 40 years or more combined. And it's with that amount of output, you kind of get to a point at a certain stage in the production process where you're like, this is not the last song I'm ever going to write. So every single sound, every single, word, every single everything, every single sample, whatever it is, doesn't have to be perfect. If you are okay with it at a certain point, or feel like you can't go any further with it, it's done. Move on to the next one and learn something in the process. And if you learn something in that process, then the next song in theory should be better. Right. And so you're just like constantly like growing and evolving and figuring it out as you go. Anthony said something on the last podcast that we were on, that like one of the main takeaways from all this experience that we have is you're always going to learn something. There's no ceiling to what you can learn when it comes to music, be it playing or production or writing or whatever. Like you can always get better. There's no one that has every answer. And that's a kind of the coolest part about being a musician, is that it's literally endless. So whatever like you feel like doing, you can do, especially today with like all the technology, like possibilities. Open your computer and the possibilities are literally endless. So yeah, I think that experience definitely, helps in being like, this song's done, on to the next one. I mean, we have outside of the 15 that are going to be on this album, we have 45 other demos sitting in a Dropbox waiting to be reborn. if you will.
Waiting to be something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, we want to do new
God.
stuff. I
Yeah.
miss working on new stuff.
Me too.
Hell yeah.
And can't wait. It's gonna be soon. But I think another part too is that sometimes when you write a song and you have high expectations of the project itself, you start to think of success in terms of how many people buy it or download it or
Yeah.
stream it. And if you just abandon all that, and you're like, as long as the band itself, as long as the guys that I'm writing music with and myself feel like this is an accurate representation of what we want to achieve, and we're proud of this body of work, then the rest of it writes itself. And so when you're driven by those, I think they're just better measures of success.
Oh, 100%.
Hell yeah. You guys stole my whole question. Gonna ask about the writing process. So I want each of you to pick your favorite lyric off this track and tell us the meaning behind it.
I'll go last. That's a deep one for me.
All right.
I have to
I
think
gotta
about the
pull up
lyrics real
lyric
quick.
sheet.
Yeah,
I know.
Fair
Well,
enough.
one thing that's funny is
I've been
I
buried
always
in all the songs that are coming out. I can't think of the words even.
I know.
I always quote our lyrics to Matt when we're hanging out. Like I'll just randomly say a "Protect Your Heart" lyric just to kind of be
I love
silly.
it.
So let me think.
Jake-
What's this one?
Jake inserts our lyrics into everyday conversations, and it's like that dad joke,
Mhm.
Oh, it's nonstop dad jokes.
I love dad jokes.
I love them.
I'm literally pulling up the lyrics right now.
Fair enough.
I can
Ashamed
hear
of
I
that.
want to.
I can hear the
respect
first line, and then everything after that just goes blank.
I know, right?
I think one of my favorites is, I think there's some good one-liners in there, but there's a part in the bridge during the breakdown that's, I know you see it in my eyes, the hardest part is denial. And I think that's such a true statement in going through a relationship that's not working. And when you have to find a way out of it or move on in a healthy way, like that, sometimes for a lot of people, when they overthink things or they're anxious or they're just unsure of how to proceed, then they will be in this state of denial where they're like, I know what's healthiest for me, but I don't know how to stop this situation from continuing on a bad path that's unhealthy for us both. So like the hardest part of all relationships is not being just completely honest and putting everything out there on the table. And you sometimes tell yourself to stick around a little longer than you should, or to be involved in something that's not healthy, even if it's just an unhealthy argument or conversation. Sometimes you just have to put a stop to it earlier, but we always know that in hindsight, rather than being able to learn from past mistakes and saying, I'm not going to repeat that again. But you're always in this constant state of denial when you're under a lot of stress.
Mhm.
Yeah, for me, I think it's the last two lines of the song. I won't make the same mistakes. It's time to leave the worst side of me. Just kind of like getting older and learning, kind of going back to what I was just talking about, like learning from your mistakes and trying to become a better person, and build stronger relationships with, whoever it is, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, your, best friend, your general friends,
And family. This song is not just about, romantic relationships. It's about all relationships.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I think with age comes some semblance of wisdom, and that line really resonates with me.
Probably, yeah. I think the "Stand My Ground" line is probably my favorite because standing your ground is cool. Don't budge. Stick up for yourself.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
Hell yeah.
Man, a few words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
That's my favorite. I love Ant. Hell yeah.
I don't know. What Matt calls the pre-chorus, because him and I
Yeah.
differ on what's the hook and what's not. These are my glory days. What's the point of all this pain? Every day is the same mistake. I'm trying to leave the worst side of me. I don't know. I feel like that just paints a really good picture. I think a lot of the stuff that Matt writes tells a really cool story, and you can kind of apply it to really so many different moments in your life. But yeah, I've never actually thought of what does this one line in particular mean to me? That's a good question.
Thank you.
Interesting thing about the lyrics is there's no swear words.
Yeah. I keep it pretty tight, pretty clean.
I like that. Nice and clean.
We are
For those
family
soccer
friendly
moms,
punk rock.
baby.
Yeah. Soccer mom, pop punk.
Soccer moms. Perfect.
Well, I've always written from a perspective that I want to connect with everybody who listens. While I don't think of my measure of success as like how many people resonate with it. I just think that the people that do listen, I want them to be able to take something away. And so I always write from a little bit more of a broad than specific perspective, while just having just enough specific moments that make it so that when it does impact somebody, it's meaningful. But I've always kind of written from that, because that's kind of the music that I listen to is something that, even if it's not something I've experienced from the writer, I still get something from it at the end of the song. And I feel like I've, been impacted in a positive way. So I want to be able to offer the same to anyone who listens.
I like that.
That's very thoughtful. I like that a lot. Right.
That's like an encyclopedia of music too. He knows like
Yeah.
every song that's ever existed.
Dude, he can tell you what number a specific track on a specific album was, and like what year
From like
it came
20
out.
years
Like,
ago. Yeah.
dude, it is.
Oh my
Jeez.
god.
Because you know why is like back in the day when you like grew up listening to records, you like think about song in order. And so when you,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
if you finish a song and then you start humming the next intro riff, it's you
Yeah.
always know what's coming next, and which makes me miss records. And that's why I'm excited we're doing one.
I feel like track 3, track 7, and track 8 were always bangers.
Yes,
The
I used to do
occasional
the same
5.
thing. Like I always went from track 1, track 3, the very last on the record, and then like whichever one was right before the last record, that was like potentially a ballad. So I'd always skip to those 4 first.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
fair.
Fair enough.
All right.
It's like the what's that record from Third Eye Blind? Their big one from the 90s that like is still timeless and everyone still loves it. Like the second half of the record's like you just don't listen to it, but the first 8 songs are like nonstop repeat. So
Mhm.
like I've always just kind of my first listens are always the first.
You
half
love
of
it so much that you don't remember the name of it.
Come on.
It's the one with
Big fans.
the
It's that
red
good.
cover.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite band. Just kidding.
Name 3 songs.
Third Eye Blind, blind.
Fourth Eye Blind.
Four
If I blind.
of them. Yeah, good record.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
No, it is
Perfect.
really
My
a great
favorite.
All right. You pass.
record. Losing a whole year, that's my jam. And Jumper for sure. That
Jumpers, yeah,
Jumpers
that's
always
a banger.
yeah.
Sammy Trump Life.
And Graduate, like that. Oh yeah, so many good songs.
Perfect.
Third Eye Blind podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
how did
literally.
this happen?
Well, this happens. Like if I get excited about a record, and I'll just talk about it forever.
That's fair.
So
I love
I have to
that.
not take us on tangents.
If this becomes the Third Eye Blind podcast, it's your podcast, because I've never listened to Third Eye Blind a day in
Yeah.
my life. So
Like, last podcast, every time someone would say Blink-182, we got a point against us. And so, that's going to be the Third Eye
Yeah.
Blind point.
Well, to be fair, he told us about it because he had to do it with somebody else where they were talking about it. So then we just started throwing it out there as
Yeah.
much as possible.
Oh my
fair
god.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, made it a challenge. That's fair. So, would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you guys were making this single?
This one, it took a lot of different like parts, I guess, like because there's the little melody that starts in the beginning. That's actually a guitar, like a distorted guitar. I just remember, I think it was me and Kian in the studio, and I had that riff, and I was like playing it, but it sounded lame just as like an electric guitar. And so then I ran it through. I make hip hop beats as well, so I took like a similar kind of approach to where I like resample it and just put it through this plugin called MXXX like 5 times, and then eventually it came out that way. And then we just started, riffing over it. I'm like, what if it was like a breakdown over this,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we'll never be able to play that riff live because you can't remake that sound.
Yeah, it's just like
Aw.
and I just bounce stuff out and we'll delete. And if it sounds cool, I just keep moving. Like I don't.
Fair enough.
So that's how the first part started. And then we wrote the instrumental, and I think we worked on it a couple times, and then we didn't think it would make the album. But then we have this folder full of just like 50 works in progresses, and then we gave Matt the folder, and he heard that, and he's like, "Hey, I'm in a Starbucks parking lot.
Yep.
Let me rip over it." And so then he showed it to us, and we're like, "Yeah, we gotta." So then we added a little bit more to it after, like the breakdown at the end and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I think originally we didn't have, when Matt got it, we didn't have a breakdown and we didn't have a third chorus. I think it was just like the intro, the like first verse, chorus, second verse, chorus, and that was it. Because I
Didn't
remember
have the solo either.
Yeah, or the solo was
the
Matt's
last thing.
idea, and I was like, "That's the only solo on the album." But Matt's like, "Can you just do a solo that like matches the chorus?" And then I just was like, "Yeah, dude, like let's go."
Yeah.
Gotta have more from every. I'm gonna always look for them now because they're so cool.
hmm
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I think also I liked it because I had just finished my big, tall, like 5 shots of espresso. And so it's like, everything sounds good, you know? So I usually start a writing session off with way too much caffeine. So I just go into it feeling great. And I'm like, oh, nothing can go wrong today.
Exactly. Everything's perfect.
So how do you guys recommend... what?
Sorry.
It's okay.
It was Lego movies.
Okay. So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this track for the first time? Should they do it in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on, at the gym, party track? What do you guys recommend?
I like at the gym, but my favorite way to listen to music is in the car with friends, putting it at 11. That's like the best way to listen to music.
Oh, yeah.
So that will be my first answer every time. Unless it's a ballad, then you cry with your friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Over a tiny speaker at a crepe shop.
Oh wow, that's very specific, but I get it.
I was gonna say I don't give a shit. Like, listen to it however you want, as long as you're listening to it. Like, cool. I don't care.
Fair enough.
That's valid.
Listen
just
to it on your
put it on
busted
Spotify.
Apple earbuds. Yeah.
Yeah, don't even listen to it. Just put it on Spotify and put it on loop. So
Yeah, or
get more
yeah,
plays.
And
On
sleep
mute.
to it.
on mute is probably the
sleep
best way.
On mute. All right.
That's my favorite way to listen to music.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Perfect. So this one should be super, super quick. Off the top of your heads, I want you guys to describe this track for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less. All 4 of you have to do it. 3 words each.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Pop punk breakdowns.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh man.
All right, I'm up.
Mhm.
Jakey Van Halen.
Okay.
Great.
Here, Ant.
Drum roll, please.
We need the Jeopardy background music right now.
Mhm.
Fast and fun.
Aw, you
Hey,
took on
nice.
Furious.
right.
Yeah, I thought that's
Family.
Yeah. No.
I'm gonna go groove, and groove.
That was
When
good.
I first heard the intro riff, and I was like, "Oh, this has hip hop in like influenced into it," and that's why I was drawn to it. I'm like, "We need something like this on the record," so I'm all about groove.
All right.
Perfect.
So is there a certain feeling or emotion you want your listeners to have while listening to this track?
I think for all of our music, you know, I think we would like people to just like feel good, like listening to it. Like it. I think that there's a lot of like heavy elements in it, but like as a like the whole spectrum, it doesn't feel super aggressive and super in your face. And I think that, you know, we're kind of writing music that we wish existed and music that we would have listened to when we were, you know, 16 years old, listening to this on the Walkman, you know, walking to the bus stop or whatever.
Mhm.
And, you know, I think when you're that age, like you just want to listen to stuff that makes you feel cool, which I know like and Jake have both said in other podcasts, like, you know, for them, like listening to like Metallica as a kid was like made you feel cool.
Mhm.
I think that like that's
Somebody heard you listening to it. They must have thought you were cool.
Exactly.
definitely.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
today, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not Metallica
Yeah.
today.
Depends on the album.
Yeah, there you go.
Jake will say
That reminds
probably
me of
most
like being a kid and going to Hot Topic and getting a chain wallet and then like a Metallica shirt. I thought I was so cool, but I was like
Exactly.
pounds. Like people probably looked at me like he thinks he's cool.
What if I told you?
No, you were
still
cool.
Do that. I think you should go get a chain wallet tomorrow.
Mhm.
That'd be
Yeah,
badass.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
I want to. Yeah, several.
Exactly.
One for
Wear
every
all of them at once.
pocket.
Oh, there you go.
Like one for each of my card, my driver's license, my like
Yeah.
card, like
Mhm.
everything.
That
Can't go
doesn't actually
wrong.
carry a wallet too, so he could tie it to every card that he carries around individually.
Oh, it's just
Perfect.
instead of a wallet, it's just a card.
God.
I have like 7 chains and I have
Oh my
7
god.
cards.
You should whip it out, dude.
I want to fumble through that trying to buy groceries with like a huge line behind me.
No, it's got to be one of these.
Yeah.
So while listening to the track, what band or artist influence pops out the most to you guys?
For this one,
Yes.
for me, like, well, writing that like little riff, it was kind of based off like Ariana Grande a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. But I showed it to my sister, and she said it reminds her of Hoobastank. There's like a Hoobastank song, one of the famous ones, and it's like the
Mhm.
melody's a little similar.
Oh,
But
Weird.
I didn't even notice.
yeah, just it's across the board, you know.
Yeah.
And we all have so many different influences. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, my main job's like selling hip hop beats, and I've been in like death metal, deathcore bands,
Whoa.
like, and we were all in like electronic music at one point. So it's like, yeah, we just like to pick from more random things. I think that, and try to be a little bit more unique, I
Mhm.
guess.
Mhm.
So
Yes,
why
Keenan, I-
Ariana Grande? Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you go.
I was just asking why Ariana Grande. How did she influence that?
Just her music slaps. It was
That's fair.
enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2019 when we came up with the idea. So she released that. I forget which album it is, but I was just like rinsing that album, and like it was just cool. And I like the major key songs in it. And
Mhm.
like that's one thing that's been really fun about writing for Protect Your Heart, is like writing kind of like heavy major key pop music, like trying to bridge like metal and pop and make it sound happy but like heavy.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like, yeah, so just thinking like listening to Ariana Grande and like pretending it to be a metal song, you know, was kind of fun, and I was like doing that in my head back in the
Mhm.
day.
Oh yeah.
It's perfect. Sorry, Ant. You can go.
Oh, I was gonna say like it's hard to ever like pinpoint something to compare a lot of our music to. I mean, Keenan and I were in the studio every weekend, and anytime we're like trying to listen to stuff as like a reference or just like get in the right headspace for like where something should go, or like, oh man, what should this sound like or anything. We can't really ever find anything that's like identical.
Mhm.
And I guess that's good. I think that's good.
It is.
We
So yeah,
have
it's tough. Listening to our stuff, I never really think to compare it. I don't know, as like a whole piece to anything else.
we have a real struggle in the studio because we're so used to like we produce dubstep and drum and bass and electro house and all this like really really heavy bass music where all the focus is on like the sub more than anything else really, and like the bottom of the kick and all this stuff, and we have a really hard time with mixing the band stuff because we want that like, you know, to feel the low end in these
Beefy.
songs. Yeah, like we want it to be visceral and like, you know, that's part of like feeling cool, right? At least to us.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like with this style of music, you can't push that stuff that hard. And that's where we'll go onto Spotify and we'll go, okay, who have we been compared to? Okay, let's go listen to their most recent stuff. And then we'll listen to it and we'll be like, that's not what I want this song to sound like. And so we're always kind of like towing the line of like what's okay for this style of music versus what we really enjoy, which is like drum and bass and things like that, where it's all low end driven. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge. But I think that, you know, it's cool to like, I guess all of our songs so far, they've all been relatively different. And I think it's just like a big hodgepodge of all these different influences over the years, because like what influences Jake writing specific guitar riffs, what influences Ant in terms of like writing melodies, and then also like on the engineering side, what influences Matt, what influences me. They're all so different to where like, you know, Matt will pull out like a Whitney Houston reference, Jake will pull out a Meshuggah reference, Ant will pull out a Pendulum reference, you know, and then it's like,
but somehow it all works.
what are we doing?
Like,
how do we make this work?
And I want to give a big shout out to Ant. Like he is a genius when it comes to mixing, and to be able to pull all those styles in. But like, it's not just saying I want this to be influenced by, you know, the Whitney Houstons, the Pendulums, the metal, like on all those things that are so different from each other. He actually finds a way to bring all those in and say, okay, we've actually included a little piece from each of those influences, and they come through in the mix, which is extremely hard to do. But he makes it work, and now it's like part of our identity is shaped around how he mixes our songs. And I know him and Kian work together on that. But it just the job that they've done is like beyond me. It's incredible.
Mixing like a dance record.
Yeah. I mean, that was when we started this project, that was the whole goal, is like we wanted things to like be really aggressive and distorted in the way that we made dance music, but also have that really, really like thick, heavy bottom end of all the songs. Because, you know, when we go listen to our favorite bands on Spotify or YouTube or wherever it is, they're always missing that like rumbly bottom, like the like thick bass, and like you're getting all the bass from like the kick, and a lot like there's this one song by Newfound Glory that I reference a million times over called Selfless. Amazing riff, amazing song. And then we just listened to it on Saturday and we're like, where's the bass? Like, can't hear it, can't feel it. Like, it's just buried. And that was kind of what we wanted to do with this all along, was like mix it like a dance record.
We're getting nerdy in here. Yeah, specifically the 85 hertz area.
Really 41.3.
Yeah.
We stay with the parametric EQ.
Oh my god.
All right. I totally know what you're talking
a
about.
lot of time recording it super clean, especially like Matt's vocals, but there's so much distortion added after the fact to just like, especially having them cut through against the super overdriven guitar tones, because a lot of the guitar tones, it's like a combination of like kind of like driven, like crunchy stuff, but to like metal tones, which are super driven. So it's fun.
All right.
You guys are killing it.
Oh yeah.
We're nerdy up in here.
So picture this: you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Song choice?
Snack of choice.
Snack choice. Okay.
Don't say sushi.
Yeah.
Meat and cheese. I've just got food poisoning a couple months ago.
Especially for in a van on tour. That's what there's rules.
Rookie mistake.
Also,
I already know. I'm
jerky.
gonna get some sort of candy, some bag, either gummy bears. Kian pointed out, I'm very particular about like all my things except candy. There's like a very large pool that I will pick from. So probably gummy bears, sweet tarts. Mike and Ike's, I ate a box yesterday. What's another one that Juji fruits? I love Juji fruits. And then I'll probably get a bottle of water.
I went to Rite Aid on Saturday and was like, all right, do you want a box of sweet tarts? And he's like, sure. And I get there and they're out of that, and they're out of Juji fruits, out of Mike and Ike's, are out of all the things he likes. So I'm like, I'm going to get the Haribo gummy bears and he's going to be happy. And he was stoked, and then ripped through the bag in like an hour. And at the end of it was like, where'd they all go? I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
It was a bigger bag too. It was like 40% more. Like,
I mean, that's fair. They're delicious.
Then you ate 40% more gummy bears than you intended on eating.
140%. Originally had no intent.
Fair enough.
They're actually really good if you stick them in the refrigerator.
Ooh,
gold bears.
Chilled. I'd pick personally. Takis are so good, dude. I don't eat them that often, but if I'm like in the mood for snacking, they're just so much flavor and it like explodes in your mouth. It's like delicious.
If I'm on road trip mode, it's always sunflower seeds and an
energy.
What energy drink? Do you have a preference?
Purple Monsters. Those are my jam.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. Plus purple for the protect your heart. Plus it tastes better.
There you go.
Okay.
My snack of choice would probably be super boring. I'd probably go with some like almonds or peanuts or something, but not I can't leave the house without like a gallon of black coffee. So that's probably, like, if we're being honest, all I would get at the gas station.
Wow.
Get the big like Starbucks cold brew thing. Probably get a couple of them.
I don't know.
All right, let's flip that to you two. What's your snack of choice?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dill pickle potato chips, and if we're touring during the holiday season, a Sprite cranberry.
Nice.
They still make those?
Yes. And if we're touring during any time that's not the holiday season, just a regular Sprite will have to do.
Oh.
If I'm being a real piece of shit, I'm definitely getting salt and vinegar kettle chips.
No, that's not allowed in the band.
So good.
Yeah.
Wait, why are those banned?
Because they smell the whole place.
We're gonna have issues when we start touring because those
chips. You guys like all the stinky foods.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
kimchi.
I'm still gonna keep my mask for that.
That's fair.
I'm bringing kimchi.
Oh god. Mine would probably just be like cashews and I don't know, like a V8 energy drink. I have those every so often.
With Ian on this one, yeah.
Every so often, you have one every night, Glory.
I don't have one every night. I've cut back.
The V8 energies.
V8 energy.
Those
drinks,
are amazing. Yeah.
They're so. Do you have a favorite flavor?
I like the black cherry. I like that one a lot.
That one's so
she
good.
She bought them for me for Christmas. Like that was my Christmas gift. She got me a 24 pack.
Because he's always tired.
I had one. It fucked me up for hours. I haven't drank them since. I don't know what
you mean it fucked you up. What happened?
They put more than just caffeine in there.
It's like B vitamins and other stuff.
I'm a big caffeine guy. So like
okay.
the 80 milligrams or whatever fucked me up.
Yeah.
Were you like
Yeah.
when you have way too much coffee and just like still tired but like jittery and
Yeah.
kinda,
Oh,
like,
yeah. I was like
anxious?
jittery,
Yeah.
and then like a couple hours later, I had like heart pain and shit. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm never drinking one of
Dude,
these
that's the
again.
worst.
Like you get admitted to the ER by drinking a V8 and you're like, I can't handle my shit.
Hey, didn't they make like healthy juice? Like,
That's what it is.
Blankets
It's
and less
Yeah.
blankets.
It's like as much as caffeine as like green tea, it says on the side of it. But if you don't drink
Yeah.
caffeine, it probably
Yeah.
mess you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same amount of caffeine as a leading energy drink. So, but a little bit less than a cup of coffee. So, it's not
Yeah,
that
yeah.
bad, Shane.
Oh, okay.
Come on. So for these last couple questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you guys.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Sure.
So we're actually going to go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Big question.
God damn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with like 2 spicy tuna rolls, like 4 orders of salmon, some mashed potatoes, nachos, like the good nachos from Costco, like Smart and Final, like those like big, huge cans that you get at like snack bars. Those are the best piece. Oh yeah, I would do that, and then I would probably get a big ass Coke.
All right, perfect.
Or if they allow it, I'll take some 40s.
Oh, okay.
But they have to come in brown bags, so it's OG style.
Okay.
I want to make it right.
Do they allow drinks on death row? Can you
I don't think so, but if they did, I would say.
We do on ours.
Yeah,
on
in
our
this,
death row.
in this scenario.
Mhm.
In this scenario, yes. So I'll do Edward 40 hands after my sushi's done, and then I'll, it'll be my last hurrah.
Perfect.
Well, if I'm dying, I'm not worried about what I'm eating. I'm going Sujita Annex, Tonkatsu, and I'm going a liter of Jameson, and just I'm not going to feel whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
At that point, I'll be asleep from the ramen and definitely passed out from the whiskey.
Oh, 100%.
I was talking about the annex with Connor and Heather. Connor edited our last 2 videos. He did Never Gonna Leave You and Best of Me. But man, that place, he lives right by there. It's so good. If you ever, I don't know where you guys are from. Are you from LA or no? No.
East Coast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If you ever come to LA, Sawtell Sujita Ramen Annex is amazing.
Dude, it will ruin every other ramen for you for the rest of your days.
It'll ruin the rest of your day as well.
Yeah.
Choice.
It'll also put you to sleep. Yeah.
It's brutal.
Which is why I'm eating it
delicious.
on death row.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To follow that up though, I think I'd have like some sort of have to be fresh pasta dish. I don't know which one. There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat as much pasta as much fresh pasta as I would like, just because it's not great for you, I guess.
Well, I mean, you're about to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there. I
Carbonara.
Are you worried about caloric intake or carb intake at that point?
Yeah. Who
Exactly.
cares?
Yeah.
Like you're still portioning.
I can see it. I can see it happening in his head. He's like, what sounds good right now? Some pasta. I'm gonna have that on death row.
Mm-hmm.
But I can also see Ant getting really, really finicky and ordering like a full leg of lamb and like
I was gonna say a tomahawk, maybe.
Yeah, like a 5-course meal.
Yeah, do that. For a drink, I stopped drinking like 4.5 years ago.
Ooh.
So I'd probably drink a Topo Chico or something. But
Mm-hmm.
if I was still drinking,
Bro, the Jameson will not.
I was gonna say a Jameson 12-year or like Basil Hayden's whiskey.
Ooh, that one's good.
Or a really, really good IPA. Oh man.
All right, Jake, you're up.
I think I'm such a foodie, so it's tough to pick. But if I had to pick right now, I think I'd pick. There's like a deli called Bay Cities in Santa Monica, and they have the sandwich called the Godmother, and it's literally one of the best sandwiches you could ever have. So I'd probably have that. I'd probably have like jalapeno kettle chips.
Ooh.
And then I'd have Drake's makes this Pilsner called the Flyway Pilsner. So I'd get a 6-pack of that.
All right.
And just, yeah.
When I walked into Ant's on Saturday, I go, you know what I was thinking that we should have for lunch today? And he's like, what? I was like, Godmothers. I was like, when was the last time you had a Godmother?
Dude, they slap. They're so good.
They make their bread in-house like every hour or two. So like you can go in there and get like a giant loaf of it, or they make them like sandwich size. That's so good. Oh my God.
Great
I
question, by the way.
Hell
I
yeah.
love
Yeah.
that question.
That's making me
You
hungry.
guys have to follow that up
Right.
with an answer of your own.
I know. Yeah, now it's your turn.
That one's good.
Spaghetti marinara and a Sprite cranberry.
Like spaghetti marinara flank.
Jane with the
Chef
Sprite
Boyardee,
cranberry.
Or like
Right?
He needs a sponsorship. You guys need
Yeah,
the
he
I
does.
need
Sprite.
a sponsorship.
We
I
do.
have a lot in my room. I stock up every holiday season so I can make it through the other 11 months.
It doesn't ruin you like the Pepsi Clear, does it? Or
No.
Pepsi Crystal?
No.
Oh, Crystal. Good.
Crystal
that
Pepsi.
was gross.
Yeah.
Mine's a sweet basil tofu with a side of rice and a taro boba tea.
You act like you haven't thought about this at all.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah. Not
haven't.
at all. It's just off
Yeah.
top of brain.
It's-
Yeah.
Yeah, just off the top. That's a good one.
Oh, boba. I just had boba the other day. So good.
It's so good.
My partner got me hooked. It's so fucking good.
Nice.
So if you could live in one fiction world for a week, where would you live?
Star Wars. Immediately.
Okay.
I would be a Jedi or a Sith. It'd be complicated, but I'd have force powers.
Complicated.
Clearly, Jake hasn't thought about this at all.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Everyone else has to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough.
Has to be fictional.
Can't be like Idaho.
That would
The West, the worst.
Yeah, I don't think that would be anyone's answer to begin with.
No. Hope not.
I'm trying to think of something fictional that I've seen recently that I can.
Everything I've seen fictionally that
I got it.
It's just not a place I want to live.
Patty's Pub.
Yes.
the same,
There you
but-
go.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Horrible people, but it'd be good.
Dude,
Yeah.
you could just sit in the booth like the old dude and just listen to them scream at each other, and it's free entertainment for the rest of your days, and probably free booze too because they're not paying attention to the bar.
But like,
Yeah,
look
exactly.
what the effect they had on cricket. Like his downfall, that could be yours next.
Oh,
Well, you just you don't get married to D and everything's fine.
yeah.
True, but they find a way to rope you in. They find a way.
Somehow.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
But yeah, because they've ruined everyone's life. They've been around.
I'm
that was my
hip-
first answer.
I'm
but I
hip
don't
to
think I can
Dennis's
do it.
games.
Yeah.
Dennis
Yeah, you
system.
can probably handle it.
Yeah,
'cause you
Dennis
don't
system.
care.
All right,
Matt,
Anna
where
or
are
Matt?
you going? I'm trying to think.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
ruined
that's
Matt's
a hard question.
answer.
I mean, yeah, because I was gonna probably end up with Patty's Pub.
Can Matt and I
Mhm.
hang out in Patty's Pub together?
Yeah, sure.
Of course, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
obsessed, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
As you
yeah.
should be. It's a perfect show.
It's the
Love
perfect
it.
show. We could just pour our own beers forever. It would be great.
Exactly. Yeah, they wouldn't notice. at all.
Or half beer, half Jack Daniels, monkey beer.
Oh yeah.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, they ended up in Ireland.
I would go Springfield or from The Simpsons, or if I could swim in the gold, like in DuckTales.
Mm-hmm.
In the Family Guy version where he dives into the gold and just breaks all of his bones.
Yeah, but no, from when I was a little
Yeah.
kid, that's what I always wanted to do. That I feel like that would be fun. Although that might get old, so that might suck. I might do it once and be like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, you get one
Better
cannonball.
answer.
That's it.
Also, Springfield is in Illinois. So you sure?
no, it's not. It's not. They never actually say where it is.
It's
There's a
controversial. I've,
Springfield, but-
I've read about this too. They
There's
never
a
say what
million of
state
them.
it's in or whatever.
Interesting.
South Park would be another fun one.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'd be
All
good.
right. Matt, what's yours?
Now,
Patty's
Patty-
Pub.
okay,
Mhm.
yeah,
Patty's
yeah.
Pub.
Free
I just
beer.
linked it.
Mhm. So
Nerds.
I actually have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person we've spoken to has said that is the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Ooh. Well, I think you know the band's favorite color.
Yes.
Purple at this point.
Mhm.
When it comes to clothes, it's black all day because that's all I wear. It's just black clothes. It's just because I don't really know how to match anything else.
That's fair.
enough.
Me too.
Yeah, it's easier. I don't have to think about what I'm wearing. I'm just like, oh, just pick two things, and if it fits, it fits.
yeah.
Mine's blue.
Ooh.
You know,
Taste.
Love that.
yeah. I don't know. I like blue.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be black or white for me at this point.
Just like your
when I
heart.
was when I was a
Or all
kid,
your
it used to be
guitars.
like orange, but I can't remember the last like orange thing that I wore or bought or anything like that. We pretty much all wear all black all the time just because it's easy.
Yeah.
yeah, I think. See, I love the color purple. Like in the room or anywhere, it's like super vibey. As a kid, it was always green. I loved green. But I feel like purple, blue. Like there's like a kind of weird middle ground in there. Kind of like the room that I'm in. Maybe I'm gonna get sick. I've been sitting in this room for a long time. Like
I'm pretty sure we chose our purple color based on Jake's hue lights when we were writing all this stuff. We always had the purple lights on, and that's kind of how it just happened.
Yeah,
Fair
it's
enough.
A vibe, man.
All right. So as Glory said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
New single out this Friday, which I don't know when this is coming out, but yeah, our
Last to Love You coming out
Last
Friday.
Love You.
What is it?
Kick ass song.
28th? Specify the 28th. Yeah, January 28th, 2022.
Yeah, music video coming out right after.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah, we did a fully animated music or fully illustrated animated music video. We're trying something new for the first time, and then we're following that up with another really cool project for the next single, which I don't want to talk about yet, but it'll be
it's coming
super neato.
All right.
I don't want to talk about it because we haven't seen anything yet, so who knows?
Yeah, you never know what might happen.
Fair
if
enough.
it looks like the concept art, then we're going to be in a good place.
Special.
All right. Well, thank you for Selfless, guys. Been Protect Your Heart, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.